When your mind is in turmoil, open this pouch. Cao Cao, no matter how deceitful people think he was, still had kindred friends. Liu Bei, no matter how good he was, still had opponents. Don't pay too much attention to how others judge you. Do well what you yourself believe is right, do well what you need to do, and walk firmly on the path you have chosen. What is yours will always be yours. If it is not yours, then even if you strive and compete for it, it will never belong to you. In life, if something is meant to be, it will be in the end. If it is not meant to be, then even by forcing it, you won't obtain it. Being able to converse does not mean you are suited to be together. Being compatible does not mean you can stay together. Being able to stay together does not mean it will be forever. And being together forever is not the only way to be happy. The quickest to vanish is often the most beautiful scenery. The deepest wounds come from the deepest feelings. The earth keeps turning, so no one can stand forever in an unlucky place. Even if today you are poor and ragged, there will come a day when the carp transforms into a dragon. The greatest sorrows in life, living with someone you despise and having no way to escape. The one you love most leaving you, and the thing you always wanted yet can never obtain. To gain what can be gained, to let go when it should be let go, not to force what cannot be forced. That is the rich, varied, and colorful texture of life. Time is like a net. Where you cast it is where you will harvest. Ideals and reality always have a distance. Fortunately, they do. Otherwise, no one would still be able to see an ideal. Maturity is not when the soul grows old, but when tears brim in your eyes and you can still keep a smile. As we mature, we learn to understand life, to conceal our flaws, to cover everything with a smile. Some hardships and pains must slowly dissolve by ourselves. Don't casually pour them all out to others. For some people, after hearing, not only cannot share your burden, but will magnify the matter and cause the opposite effect. Love is like sand in your hand. The tighter you grasp, the faster it slips away. So loosening your hold on others is also loosening your hold on yourself. When the sky is ready, it will rain. When a girl's fate arrives, she will marry. Walk to the end of the road you must travel. A melon ripened by force is never sweet. A relationship forced will never bring true happiness. To lower your head requires courage. To raise your head requires strength. As a person, you must know when to advance and when to retreat, responding appropriately to each situation. When all goes well, do not be arrogant. When adversity comes, do not lose your temper. The causes of the world's suffering. Buddhist teaching says, life is a sea of bitterness. So what is this sea of bitterness and what is the greatest suffering in the world? 4 bhikkhus were discussing what suffering is greatest. One said, the greatest suffering in life is greed and desire. When they are not satisfied, the pain is beyond words. Another said, the greatest suffering is not having enough to eat. When the stomach roars, nothing compares to that misery. A third said, the greatest suffering is anger. Once 3 fires flare, wrath gushes from the eyes, and the heart is in agony. The last said, the greatest suffering is cowardice. The heart constantly flutters with fear, worrying ahead, fearing behind, unable to be at ease even for a moment. Just then, the Buddha heard their conversation and taught, you have not spoken of the true root of suffering, but only from your own biased vexations. Among you one, reborn from the dove, clings to affection and thus deems desire to be suffering. One, reborn from the hawk, has known hunger and thus deems hunger to be suffering. One, reborn from the venomous snake, deems rage to be suffering. One, reborn from the hare deems fear to be suffering. In truth, the greatest suffering in this world is precisely to have this human body. To be human is to suffer. To escape this sea of bitterness, there is only self-cultivation and nourishing one's nature. Why did the Buddha say that having a mortal form is suffering? Is there not also the saying, a human body is hard to obtain, the central land is hard to be born in, the great Dharma is hard to encounter? To have all three is great fortune, is it not? It sounds contradictory, but in fact it is not at all. Buddhism often teaches, return to the origin and realize the true, meaning to return to one's innate nature, to the purest, most pristine state before coming to this world. We are all familiar with the image of the inn on the mortal road. It means that humans do not originate from this world. From ancient times to now, East and West alike, myths about humanity's origin all say that mankind was created by the gods of each people. We came to this world carrying the mission entrusted by the divine, with a promise to return. Yet upon falling into the red dust, fame, profit, and love entangle us, making us contest and indulge, forgetting the path home. The human body allows us to live in the human realm, to repay the karmic debts amassed over countless past lives. Hence it is said that having a human body is suffering. But if we hold fast to sincerity, kindness, and forbearance amid the tangled ways of the world, then each of us is not far from the right path. A sage once taught that humans are the spiritual essence of all beings. Only humans are worthy to hear the true Dharma and attain the right path. If, by misfortune, one is reborn as a stone, then for thousands upon thousands of years it is hard to gain the chance to cultivate. Therefore, though having a human body is bitter, one can cultivate return to one's true home and be free from all worldly pain. To be human is to suffer. To leave the sea of bitterness, the only way is to rectify the mind according to the right path and refine this mortal body, so that one can break delusion and ascend, returning to one's true home. If you find this piece meaningful and helpful, please share it with everyone. Wishing you a life of happiness, full of joy. Thank you for watching the video. Remember to subscribe to follow many new videos. Wishing you always cheerful days.